Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli with Little Blue, and that's right. You'd seen us review the first one. Now we are, of course, reviewing the second one, which being, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. So there's so much I know we're gonna say about this movie.
This is my favorite.
Yes, this is your favorite.
This is my favorite of all of.
Who
I
won this?
absolutely love Davy Jones.
Yes,
Love
let's
Davy Jones.
let's wait until we get them, of course, But because actually, fun fact, because this was the first Disney film, any Disney film to actually have the new Disney logo, the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and yeah, of course, because like Jack Sparrow's entrance was pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
In a coffin and so on. He blew up a bird, and
Yeah, he did.
yeah.
He was in the coffin, sealed up.
We also
Blew a hole through the coffin.
Yeah.
Blew the bird exploded and
yeah,
many pieces.
Sorry, mate, and pulled up a leg,
Yeah. Pulled up a leg and
also-
used it for a paddle.
Yeah, and you also had say I don't know what was going on because on that island, I can't remember, with Elizabeth and Will. Like I guess they were due to be married, right?
They were due to be married.
Yes, and Lord Beckett comes in.
The Lord Beckett comes in. They come in, take control of the island.
Yes, they do.
Basically, the governor is taken into custody. He's basically not arrested, but he's overridden his
Yes.
power.
And James Norrington, he had left. Like
Norrington had left, disgraced.
Yep.
Lord Beckett comes in, part of the trading company.
Right.
The trading company that was. And it was British, and they were taking control.
Yes.
They were taking control of the Caribbean, the Caribbean islands, the whole Caribbean Sea. So,
And which would lead up to in the next film, which we will of course review later, leading to a war. Yeah, between Beckett and the pirates. The code.
right,
Yes, and the pirate lords actually.
of course.
But which we'll talk about, of course, when we get to At World's End. For this, we're reviewing Dead Man's Chest. Beckett, he was a good villain in Pirates of the Caribbean villain.
Oh yeah, he was a
should
good
say.
villain. He was a very good
His
villain.
attitude and just so on,
Very arrogant.
and
very,
and his smile that he would have,
Yes.
because
Yes.
yeah, and also because like Will is trying to find Jack,
he is.
to save Elizabeth, and we of course come to the here's another thing. We of course get the first appearance of Bootstrap.
Bootstrap Bill.
Yep, comes aboard, and it was mentioned like in the first Pirates film in Curse of Black Pearl because he served on the Black Pearl, But of course they strapped him to a cannon, and
Yes.
yeah, and he kind of already been cursed, wasn't he? And part of Davy Jones' crew, like when he was on the Black Pearl. Like if you get my point.
Well, any of Davy Jones' crew is cursed. They can either go to the depths or they can choose to serve.
Yes.
Serve until the day of judgment, and a lot of them, the ones who are afraid to die, are the ones who will usually serve.
Yes.
But they're basically the living cursed. So
Yes. So Bootstrap, like after he was strapped to a cannon on Black Pearl, like that's when he served with David Jones, I assume. Like,
right,
Right.
and then when we see Davy Jones for the first time,
Not yet.
oh come on,
The sequence with the natives,
oh yes, of course,
Yeah.
who can forget that? When Jack Sparrow escapes from the
Well, they think he's a god, like as Gibbs describes, they think he's a god.
yeah, and they're gonna kill him. They're
Yeah.
gonna sacrifice him as a god. I guess their religion, they sacrifice their gods instead of making a
Yes.
sacrifice to the gods.
Will
They
was-
literally sacrifice the gods.
Will was taken to that like giant ball like cage or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and like as Sparrow was saying, Malika-liki, I was just like Malika-liki.
Exactly.
What's that supposed to mean for?
I don't know. It was just. I think he was making it up as he went along. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it was impromptu. I really do.
Yeah, and so like Jack does run away, but of course they go up, they catch him. Of course they place him at the fire.
Yeah, and when he's tied to that spear, and he's
well
and he's
done.
run, and he's. I mean, that is absolutely hilarious.
It is, yeah.
That whole scene. I mean, it is so slapstick and so funny.
Yes, and even like that scene where like the Black Pearl crew, they're trying to swing and catch like vines, you know.
Yeah, and
I
they
like
start
that.
pulling themselves up.
I like that music that plays as they're swinging, you know.
Yes,
Yeah, because dun dun dun.
Exactly.
That's pretty good.
it is very good.
And oh yeah, and that other part of the crew that was on another cage, like, you know, you won't need that much. About 6 will do. And what was wrong with having more crew on, you know, instead, and not only having 6? If you get my point.
Exactly. And so the other side, they start racing the other one up,
Yeah.
thinking, you know, when they get up there, they're going to cut the vine and kill them. So
Okay. But again, what was wrong with not having more crew, you know?
I
You get my point.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
But when they figured out they could run it on a minimum crew, they're like, well, why do we need each other? You know, we'll just
Oh, okay,
you know,
yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yes.
And they're you know and they're racing each other to the top of the cliff. You know, so it was fun.
Yeah. And the one that's, you know, on the other side, like, one of them accidentally grabs a snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, that a chase between like the natives and the crew, and with Jack leading up to the beach, you know, and the two funny crewmen of the Black Pearl, they're of course in this,
Yes.
and they join the Black Pearl crew once again. This time under Jack's command.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pintle and Raggedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Raggedy with the wooden eye.
I love those two guys.
Yeah, it's nice to see they kind of went to like good, and when they served under Jack, you know.
Exactly.
And of course, Tiadama in this.
Tiadama. Yes.
Yes.
Tiadama. I love Tiadama's character.
Oh yeah, and she's also kind of Calypso, isn't she? Like,
She is Calypso.
okay,
We find that out in the next movie.
right. So I guess Calypso was just,
but-
was like in disguise or something, going by Tiadama, I guess. you could
Exactly.
say.
So, and we also find out that Davy Jones is madly in love with Tiadama.
And it's kind of
AKA
teased in this one of Dead Man's Chest, like the hearts like play music.
Yep.
And of course, coming up to Davy Jones and with the Flying Dutchman.
Exactly.
We first see the Dutchman, we see the crew, and Will gets on like this wrecked ship, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, you know, Will is held hostage with the others, you know? Mm-hmm. There's a couple of them shaking and just so on, and Davy Jones appears.
Davy Jones appears and says,
5 men still alive, the rest have moved on. And Davy Jones, he walks up to one part that's just shaking, you know, just...
lights his pipe.
And like smoke kind of comes out.
All right,
like,
wait a minute. My line. Let me do my line.
Here's Little Blue's best Davy Jones impression.
I won't say it's my best, but I'll
Well-
give it a shot anyway.
His closest impression to Davy Jones is, here's his impression. Here,
right.
take it away.
He lights his pipe and he leans down. And you see the smoke coming out of the tentacles. And he goes,
Like, whatever there are, ears, I don't know. But here's his impression.
do ye fear death?
Not really. He doesn't say that, you know, you feel death.
No, he says, do ye fear
Maybe I need
death?
to, maybe I'm kind of didn't really catch
Do
what
ye
he...
fear that dark abyss? All your sins lay bare. And
he
does
kind of
it-
first says all your deeds,
says that
something.
thing. I know. I'm just paraphrasing what he says, but
Just doing
his
it your
first
way.
line. His first line is, "Do ye fear death?"
Yes.
And I fell in love with that
his,
character.
and his interaction with Jack, you know, just like them.
It was. I mean, it was amazing.
You
And
have
then-
a debt to pay. You've been captain of the Black Pearl for 13 years. That was our agreement.
Yeah.
And like
And he
Jack,
says,
Jack
you are neither
And like Jack-
dead or dying. What is your purpose here? I've come to settle Jack Sparrow's debt. He says, what is your purpose?
Jack
here?"
Sparrow's settlement his death.
Yeah, settle his debt.
Yeah.
I've come to settle Jack Sparrow. I've come
No,
to
he doesn't say I've come to. No, he just says Jack Sparrow settled his death or whatever it
to
says.
settle his debt.
Yeah, to say, yeah.
And he says, what is your purpose here?
Did he know?
Did he know? I love that, man.
Yes.
Love his character. I mean, it's just...
And gives like, oh yeah, even earlier, Bootstrap gave Jack the black spot.
Exactly.
But David Jones kind of took it away from him, you know, and you know,
says-
3 days.
Exactly. And he says, I feel sullied.
Yeah. I like how it's funny he wipes it off on Gibbs, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this other crew, you know, that Elizabeth kind of sneaks on, you know,
Exactly.
and
The dress.
yes, the dress,
It was just great.
and something else like I'm trying to remember. Yeah, and Will serving on the Dutchman and meeting his father.
Meeting his father, which he vowed to never turn his back on his father as his father turned his back on him. he
Yeah.
said. So that
And
was
Davy Jones like forces Bootstrap to whip his own son, you know?
yeah, which is cruel.
Yeah.
But you can see Davy Jones is just he's enjoying it. He's just
And I guess I'm sure that Bootstrap he had no choice, you know, because
Yeah, he didn't
well
have any
Davy
choice.
Jones was right there, you know. They would be doomed, so you know,
so yeah, he had to beat his own son.
Yeah.
Which was sad.
because because of Davy Jones, you know.
Yeah.
So because if he didn't, who knows what would have happened.
Right.
I like also when we first see the Dutchman out in sea because Davy Jones playing his organ, you know.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yes, and something else like also one thing in this movie, like you know, finding a key, the key to the chest.
Yes.
Yeah, you know that music that plays when like the key would appear. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's
I
like,
can hear it in my
I'm
head
not
right now.
what's it supposed to be? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It's kind of eerie or something.
It's
you know?
very eerie. It has kind of a lonely sound to it.
Yeah,
You know?
we even hear it again, like say in the third film. So you know. Okay, but
Recurring theme.
what?
A reoccurring theme.
Recurrent thing, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the playing dice or whatever, you know, you know, I challenge Davy Jones.
Right.
I accept, or whatever he says, and you know, wanting to have the key doesn't really succeed, and you know, of course, you know, Bootstrap and Will they find another way, and like Will sneaks in as Davy Jones is asleep, you know.
And steals the key.
Yes, and then we and of course coming up to say, oh yeah, because Tortuga, you know, James Norrington, that's where Jack, Elizabeth, and Gibbs they find him there,
Right.
and you know James Norrington he becomes a member of the Black Pearl crew,
Right.
but now we come to this, the Kraken.
Oh, the
I
Kraken.
had to do that.
Yeah, the Kraken. Love the Kraken.
Yeah,
Hello, beastie.
yeah, but yeah, that's for the end, you know.
It
But
is.
like the Kraken literally destroys that ship, you know, and that Will's on. That
Exactly.
rescue Will actually.
Right.
And
The Kraken is ferocious. Giant squid.
Yeah.
Makes the squid
especially
from 20,000
the-
Leagues Under the Sea look like a
when
little tiny
all
octopus.
the large tentacles rise up and
Yes.
literally break it in half. And
Yep.
that organ that plays. Yeah, and like Will and a couple other crew from that ship survive, you know, but the crew of that ship, you know, there are no survivors. They get killed.
Right.
Yeah, and I like this one part where the Hammerhead crewman, you know, the Dutchman,
Yes.
boy's not here. He must have been claimed by the sea. And David Jones just says, I am the sea. Because technically David Jones is.
Technically, he is, yeah.
Yeah, so, and leading up to when David Jones is having his crew like set sail for that island where the chest is, you know, who sent him, you know, on my ship? Who told him about the key? Jack Sparrow. Yeah, see, exactly. So
Jack gets the blame for everything. Jack's conniving, man. He knows his stuff.
Yes.
He's a con artist.
and yeah, and that island that they're on, you know, and Norrington and the two guys, Jack and Elizabeth, and Will makes his way in that one scene where the Flying Dutchman, you know, as Jones says, down then, you know, all the crew just shout, down, you know.
Exactly.
And we see where, you know, it does go down, you know,
Yes.
because it can go underwater, of course.
Right.
Well, because they're cursed, they're also sea creatures.
Right.
Yeah, and I just like how, you know, because Pentel and Raggedy are kind of surprised, or kind of shocked when they see the Dutchman go down. Yeah, and a bit of a sword fight between when they find the chest, you know. It's a big chest, but what's inside the big chest is the small chest, you know. And he's looking at the tablet. We always have the tablet.
Yeah, we always have the tablet so we can reference actors when we forget
Exactly.
their names.
Exactly.
It's Rigetti, by the way. No, that's what I was checking. It's Rigetti.
Rigetti.
Yeah,
Okay.
not Raggedy. I was like, who's Raggedy? It's Rigetti.
Well, I was clearly talking about, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways,
With
and
the wooden eye.
a sword fight, the wooden eye, yeah, a sword fight between Norrington, Turner, and Sparrow. You know,
Yes.
it all has to do with the heart, I guess.
Exactly. And the music. I mean, the music is always what makes those movies. I mean, it's just, the music is just,
Yes, and up to when like
Fantastic.
they get to like an abandoned church,
Yes.
and like cause like a spindle, like a wheel to like break off.
yeah, it's actually a,
Well, what's its? I forget.
it's a water mill. It's
water
it
mill.
turns,
right.
it spins. It's,
Exactly. They cause it to break.
Right.
And Norrington, Will Turner on top of it, and like sword fighting, Sparrow kind of all over the place, you know?
Right.
Up to when finally Norrington and Will, like, they're like they stop sword fight. Well, because that thing still spins, or
Exactly.
and you hear them screaming, just obviously.
I know.
And up to when it tips over out into the ocean, like they're completely dizzy.
Right.
That's funny, so and like even the Dutchman crew, they go after the chest as well,
Mm-hmm.
and up to when Norrington sacrificed himself, he runs and distracts them,
Mm-hmm.
but he already got the heart.
Right.
Yeah, because Jack kind of put it in a jar, but Norrington sneakily, like, if I'm saying that right, got the heart out of the jar of dirt. Yeah, and up to when that one Dutchman crew, follow my voice,
Right.
No, not the tree. I like that part, and Jack's like, oh, shut it. Yeah, up to when, that's the scene where Jack opens the chest.
Exactly.
And, and like, I will remove it from your dead hands, or whatever he says, here you go. So, Norton runs off, and that part with his head, like, off, like, Poto, Anito, and, like, he has to catch up with them, with his, like, what's the name of that sea creature, like he's supposed to be? Hermit crab?
It's like a crab, yeah. It's like
I'd say like hermit crab.
Yeah.
So, like, the hermit crab and, like, with the hermit crab legs.
Mm-hmm.
And kept trying to catch up to them, and a brief like fight between the Dutchman and the Black Pearl, and the improvised scene of Jack Sparrow. I got a jar of dirt, I've got a jar of dirt, and guess what?
Falls down the. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but when he sings "I've got a jar of dirt," that was totally improvised, and the look on the actors' faces, like specifically Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom, those were real. Yep, those were real. And up to when we're gonna mention this at the end, and of course the Kraken is summoned again.
Mm-hmm.
Like the crew are winning at times,
Sure.
And finally up to when like Jack Sparrow, like he's kind of a coward at first, isn't he?
He
Gets on a boat and like.
But when he's cornered, he'll fight.
But then he comes back and he fires at all the barrels of powder and even the rum.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really the Marty, that's his name, and like he says, did we kill it? And Gibbs, I loved what Gibbs says, no, we just made it angry. They did,
Right.
And Jack tells him to abandon ship, and all he said, and and he also says she's only a ship,
Right.
and true, even though the Black Pearl's the Black Pearl, but she's also a ship,
Mm-hmm.
and I forget, because the purpose of Elizabeth like having Jack stay behind, cuff him, What was that supposed to be for? I forget the meaning of that.
Not sure.
Right.
Not sure I'm following.
Yeah. I don't know why, but like she cuffs him, after
Well,
distracting him, like kissing him and such, and cuffing him.
she does it because she knows the Kraken is after him.
Exactly.
So she's forcing him to stay there.
They're only safe with him, not with him, not with them.
Right.
And Will kind of sees, and he thinks of the total opposite.
He thinks that she has feelings for him.
Exactly.
Because she kisses him, but she's doing it to distract him.
Well, and he didn't know what was going on, of course,
No.
until the third film.
No, he doesn't.
And I like how Jack says, because like after what Elizabeth says, like all he could say to her is pirates. It's like she's kind of become one.
Yeah, he looks at her and he goes, pirate.
Yeah, pirate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like referring to her.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what she's become.
Yeah, exactly. She's learned how to outsmart, and she's learned to be conniving, so he calls her a pirate.
Exactly.
Yep.
And up to when we actually fully see the Kraken, and God, it looks kind of so real,
Yeah, it
with
does.
the teeth.
Yeah, it does.
And like the saliva, or just like, what was it? Just, what I'm talking about. And,
I don't know.
Jack's face, like,
I know, and he gets that stuff blown all over him. It's
And-
like mucus.
Yeah, mucus.
Yeah.
That's it. And hey, there was, throughout the film and like at the beginning, Jack lost his hat.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. And the Kraken kind of swallowed it because there was this like one small ship with like these two crewmen,
Yeah, he gets it back at the end, and he's shaking all the mucus off.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah. And then he pulls out his sword, and the last line he gets in the film, "Hello, beastie."
Yep, and goes after the Kraken. The Kraken
Yes.
swallows him.
And Davy Jones watching through the Dutchman on the telescope, and Jack Sparrow, our debt is settled.
Exactly.
Captain goes down with the ship. Turns out not even Jack Sparrow can best the devil.
Right.
And Davy Jones like, open the chest. And open the chest, I need to see
I
it.
need to see it.
And they open it, he looks at it, and instantly in the seconds, like Davy Jones, he looks up and then He has the look on his face.
And he has
And you hear the crew even gasp too.
Right. He spits the water and he goes, "Damn you, Jack Sparrow!"
Yeah, he shouts,
Love that line.
I think you kind of even see the crew as the camera's backing out of the Dutchman up top. You
Yeah.
see the crew kind of like just like or just,
Yeah, exactly.
this is David
Those are
Jones's voice being so powerful.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh man, it's on now.
Yes, and Norrington, because he returns to the whatever it's called, because the British, and to Beckett, and he got, of course, the heart of Davy Jones, because I think
Right.
Beckett was expecting the compass,
Sure.
but Norrington, like he says, better the heart of Davy Jones. I saw this. I don't know if you saw this. There was a deleted scene where it kind of kept going. That scene with Beckett and Norrington, and oh god, that one pirate who served alongside with Beckett, wasn't it him? Like Ian, he was kind of evil too,
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he served alongside Beckett,
Right.
and because we forgot to mention him too, and the scene kind of kept going up, and one thing in that is like the Dutchman actually shows up,
Right.
and David Jones kind of takes his hat off, to what be for what's that supposed to be, like what he was doing, taking his hat off.
Not sure. Out of respect, you're talking about?
I think, respect, yeah.
Showing respect, yeah.
Yeah. And even mentioning it, even right before that scene ends, like in Beckett's office, like a map, that was on the wall. It was like being painted and so on. We kind of see in the film.
Right.
And that guy who's doing it's like, the map is finished, sir.
Right.
And I forget what Beckett says, but but in the actual film, because right after Norrington says the heart of Davy Jones, we cut back and they're making their way to Teodama,
Exactly.
all these like people like in the water, in memory of Jack, I guess. Yeah. So, and of course, mentioning this and a toast to Jack, and also a lead up and hint and so on of a lead up to at World's End, as Teodama says.
Right.
And you will need a captain who knows those waters.
Exactly.
And we kind of see it. We kind of see a glimpse of him in the beginning, just to like his boots or anything. And even the monkey Jack is in the film too. But like we see a glimpse of the boots. But as the boots are like we see like walking down the stairs, Barbossa,
who is
and
my
the reaction,
favorite.
all the reactions to see Barbossa come down were real.
Yeah.
It was they were told it was Zoe Saldana, but it was really Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's become of my ship?
And takes the bite of the apple.
He
and
laughs.
See the juice of the apple.
drip,
Rip it down his. Oh.
And that's what's great about Barbossa, and his laugh, and Jack just squealing, and boom, the movie ends, and that end credit scene with the dog.
Right.
Forgot to mention the dog with the keys. Yeah, because like he was with the two guys, and he stayed on the island with the natives. Became a god to them, I guess.
Yes.
He got the hat, and with a bone in his mouth.
Exactly right.
Yeah, but Dead Man's Chest is great, isn't it?
Dead Man's Chest is my favorite of the.
A fantastic sequel.
Exactly. Even though Barbossa is not in it, and Barbossa is my favorite character.
He
and Davy Jones are my two favorites.
Barbossa is in it, but just at the very end.
At the very end.
And he's the last. He gets the last lines of the film, which is great.
I love Jack Sparrow. Endearing character. Love him. He cracks me up. But there's just something about Davy Jones and Barbossa. Barbossa he epitomizes the pirate.
Yeah.
He is a pirate. I mean,
he's also kind of an anti-hero,
He is an anti-hero, very much so.
Yeah.
But he's someone that you absolutely love.
And also like he's also kind of frenemies with Jack,
Exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah, frenemies is a good term. That's basically what they are.
Yes, I've heard that term before. So
yes.
There's a Disney Channel original movie called Frenemies. So
right.
Anyways, but anything else to say on Dead Man's Chest?
No. Great movie. Classic.
How do we rate this?
Oh,
10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Two thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Yeah, absolutely.
And until we review the second sequel at World's End. Yes.
Yes.
A lot of things happen in that.
A lot of things happen in that.
It's definitely a follow up to a Dead Man's Chest, and it came out a year after Dead Man's Chest.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So, Anyways, so with that being said, that's our review of Dead Man's Chest. Again, 10 out of 10 and 2 thumbs up way up for Dead Man's Chest. It's a great sequel, and kind of, Curse of Black Pearl and like Dead Man's Chest, it still kicked off the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise,
Yes, it did.
Yeah, and when that film came out, like the updates came to the Pirates attractions.
Mm-hmm.
David Jones, Barbossa, Jack, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So incorporating a few things from the movies in the ride,
Right.
So, and again, any last words?
No last words. Classic movie. Classic Disney
Yes.
film.
Okay, 10 out of 10 and 2 thumbs up again. And you normally say I must be off or what? It's like,
I'll say I must be off.
okay, he says that. I wondered if you were gonna say that. You normally say that, but again, he says that, and for me, we hope you enjoyed our review of Dead Man's Chest, and until we continue reviewing the pirate films, we'll see you guys in the next video / review video. More reviews on your way. They're gonna be awesome. Keep looking forward. Take care. Peace out.